From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with incredible great news today about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. The latest breaking details today for April 14th, 2022. We're going to go over three big, massive checks that have landed. Have you got to them? If you have, I'm congratulating you across the board. If you haven't, become a member right today. There's a $6,500 check that became law March 31st. We'll go over how to get it. Then a $15,000 to $80,000 check became law March 4th. These are all fourth stimulus checks made law by Joseph Biden. Then an MSC check, baby. Oh, yes, it's good. About $24,000, $2,000 a month. Monthly automatic checks became law in early 2021. We're going to go over all those incredible checks. Then we'll be turning back to the Build Back Better Act in this special live broadcast for our anniversary of this channel, approaching its 2-year anniversary for April 25th. We'll be going over in this live broadcast of the Build Back Better Act first, and its likely vote later this month. There's a lot of checks in there, upwards of $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. Then we'll be turning to the changing, developing details of that SS300. That's to swap that COLA for inflation. That would raise your benefits up approximately at $300 more per month. We'll go to the latest details today from the Federal Reserve. Then we're off to six stimulus caused by Vladimir Putin. This is the biggest stimulus package you've seen of a generation to battle things like wheat, oil, and grain. We'll have the latest details of that. And then the special 1-hour broadcast in the final parts of the video, I'll be going live and interacting with you in the live chat. I'll go over how to be a better Purple Hawk and how to be better at getting these big sums of money. I'll be answering your questions in the final minutes of this video, so get ready. It's a big day with a lot of money, and we also have a big surprise for 7 stimulus. Student loan debt forgiveness, brand new, just happened minutes ago. It's huge, and it is absolutely what Liz Warren was asking for. We'll have all those big details and more on a big day. For April 14th, 2022, as we approach our 2-year anniversary, this, my friends, is Afternoons LALATE. Good afternoon, everybody. You're watching an April 14th, 2022, a live special broadcast from Santa Monica, California about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022 and the changing, developing details on the other stimulus packages for all the big monies that you want. We're going to go over that SS300 and why that inflation rate may not drop as quickly as Jay Powell thinks. Then we'll be going over recession and why that tees up 6 stimulus. Then we'll be looking at 7 stimulus, student loan debt forgiveness. And then we'll be looking at those 3 big checks that have landed. And we're going to go over whether you got to them and how you get them as well. And if you haven't become a member to the biggest, fastest growing channel. Tonight on Amy's LA in prime time, America's most watched financial news show in prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're going to go over more about these incredible checks. And later in this video, you're going to have me live in the chat interacting with you and answering your questions. As a special anniversary edition of this channel as it approaches its 2-year anniversary, April 25th. Let's go over the Build Back Better Act to start. The fourth stimulus recon currently in the Senate, passed by the House, with incredible checks in there. How much checks are there in there? There's about $15,000 to $80,000 of credible checks in there across 3 clusters and 3 add-ons. We're going to go over those clusters and add-ons a little bit more detailed in prime time tonight. But let's just get an overview of those incredible checks right now. Yes, about a little bit less than $15,000 all the way up to $80,000. Let's look at that first cluster. In that first cluster, we have hazard pay. 1 more year for the earned income tax credit. Wow. $4,000 of elder care. Yes. $3,600 for the CTC. Yes. Then they got in there the Pell Grant, $550 checks for those college students. Huge. $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. Wow. And then they got nutrition in there. Great. We're just getting started because the first add-on of checks is great. A little bit less than $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Incredible. Got in there via Maxine Waters. That is huge. How to get that huge check? Tune in tonight on Evenings LA. We're going to go over it more in detail. In that second cluster of checks, we have paid leave, which is a lot of money. That is $4,000 to $6,000 a year if they have to stay home from work due to sickness or illness, and then home repairs. Those are to weatherize your home. But hold up, stop the graphics, pens up. That's law. Law. Yeah, Joe Biden took it out of the second cluster of the fourth stimulus recon bill and made it law. Because remember, a president can make things law by executive action, and that is law, and that is your check A, and that check A, B, and C. Let's look at that incredible check right now. It's a $6,500 check to weatherize your home, and Joseph Biden was looking at it in Build Back Better, and he said, I'm going to take it out, and he did, and he took it out on March 31st. Immediately, I featured it from the members of this channel, the Purple Hawks, that night. It has now been live for about half a month, so viewers, members of this channel have gotten the ability to pounce and get that check since March 31st, the night it was announced. And it's not the only check that is for stimulus recon check law right now. It's also check B. Check B is a $15,000 to $80,000 check that was in Build Back Better Act, and the president took it out, did it by executive action. It's a law. And we're going to go over how to get those checks plus check C later in this video. We're just getting started. Let's go back into that Build Back Better Act. We were in the second cluster where that weatherizing your home check was taken out. Paid leave is staying in there. That's a lot of money, $4,000 to $6,000 a year. Let's go to that second add-on of checks, a little bit less than $250 billion for free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Cluster number 3, lots of checks, free internet for all checks, farmers checks, independent contractors checks, and then seniors getting lots of checks. Ooh, they are cleaning up. They are getting dental checks, vision checks, hearing checks, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55 checks, the Medicaid gap fix checks, which is part of course, when we're talking about adding checks as incredible recon, the other checks they represent, they would add in there. Those senators, of course, are MSC. IRS MSC. That's a monthly IRS stimulus check that would come to your hand like a third stimulus check, and the eligibility is the same, says the percentages of viewership of the channel. Single individual, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you get it. Double it. Family of 4, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or rental benefits, you get as well. It's not income. It's not taxable. It's not different from state to state. It is a nationwide program. It goes off the direct deposit on that account of that tax return, otherwise in the mail. How many checks? Well, the legislators represent $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months. There you go. We're going to learn more about those checks in prime time tonight. Those, my friends, are the 4 stimulus recon Build Back Better Act checks. Now, the great news is that the president did not wait, and he took 2 checks out of Build Back Better Act and made them law. Check A. $6,500 stimulus check. Have you gotten it? It's coming up in a second. Check B, a $15,000 to $80,000 check. Have you gotten it? That stimulus check is coming up in just a second. And then check C, an MSC check. Wait, hold up. This check C is a lot more money. Build Back Better Act proposes a $7,000 payout of MSCs. 6 months, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. That's $7,000. This check C of MSCs is $24,000, with many viewers averaging $45,000, some getting over $150,000. How do you get them? They're coming up later in this recording. If you haven't become a member, get the Global Newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system. We're going to go over more about those incredible checks in just a second. Now, when we're looking at the next situation at hand, it is the big surprise is what Jay Powell is doing with that inflation. Who is Jay Powell and why is inflation important for you? Because that tees up the question of interest rates and your benefits. Joseph Biden, when running for president of the United States and then when elected, in his presidential platform said he was going to swap your benefits out for COLA for inflation. Swap it out. Why does this work? Because COLA doesn't move, inflation does. And inflation is tracking its highest price point of a generation. 8% is where it likely was last month. Now, let's go over the details. All last year, I said 8% inflation by December 2021, and not temporary. I said it's going to be sustained. Jay Powell had it very wrong, the head of Federal Reserve. The whole Federal Reserve had it wrong. They said 2 to 3% and temporary. Well, I got it right. It was 8% in December, 8% in January, 8% in February. And what was the economic data that came in the last 48 hours? Well, it was much the same, that the inflation may actually be a little bit hotter. The CPI number released earlier this week showed that the CPI rose year to date at 8.5%, the highest annual growth since 1981. But let's look at the month-to-month data, shall we? Let's look at that month-to-month data. When we look at how much the inflation moved from the month of February to March, did it go down? It didn't. It went a little bit more higher. So it went up about 1/3%. Wall Street expecting 0.5%. So it didn't go down. There you go. We're tracking very hot on this inflation. We're not going down just yet. And that is the March data. So, and Joe Biden makes that swap and color inflation right today. You lock in $200 more per month, not just this month, not just this year, but lifetime, because that's the way your benefits works. That's the way once your benefits go up, they never go down. Hashtag Joe make the call. Hashtag Joe make the call. Now, what is Jay Powell trying to do? Jay Powell's trying to bring down inflation. And where's he trying to bring it down to? 1.9% by December is his latest benchmark. He originally said 4% in February. 4% would be another $100 on top of your benefits. That would be SS 300. Do I think he's going to get to 1.9%? Absolutely not. I don't think he's going to have anywhere close to that. I don't think he has the tools to do it. Does he have the tools to get down inflation lower than 8%? There's two ways to look at this one, folks. The first one is don't risk it. Just Joe make the phone call. Joe make the call, because I don't know if Jay Powell does have the tools or doesn't. That's how I subscribe. Just make the phone call and swap that color for inflation right today. But let's analyze. Does Jay Powell have the tools to bring down inflation? And how much so? My analysis right today is that Jay Powell does not have the tools to bring down inflation that staggeringly. It's 8% now, maybe inflation. I think he can probably get down to 5%, and then he's going to sort of lose steam. He may not even get it down to 5%. He may only get it down to 6%. Jay Powell's talking about half basis point over consecutive meetings. Some of the Fed governors are literally just losing their bonkers. They're talking about half basis point for months and months and months and months and months. I got to tell you, folks, I just want to look at those Fed governors and say, you're so wrong. You are so wrong, because you, by raising interest rates, are not going to solve supply chain disruption. Supply chain disruption is what's causing inflation. Inflation that's in America right today is food inflation and energy inflation. If you look at the data that came out, that CPI number this week, the big numbers that moved dramatically are exactly what you thought. Food and energy. The other numbers didn't really move that much. And that signals that is caused by supply chain disruption. First, food rose 8.8% year to date. So that is a little bit higher than the core CPI, which is 8.5%. Then the energy rose 32% year to date compared to 8.8 for the average number, 8.5 for the average number. So it shows you that food and energy are tracking higher inflation for a reason. So what's the reason? It's supply chain disruption. What's supply chain disruption? It means you can't get the product to the person. It's in the port, can't get it to your house. It's in the truck, can't get it to you. It's being shipped from China, can't get it to you. Or the supply chain disruptions issues today. It's one event after another. As of February, the supply chain disruption was the end of COVID. We got off of COVID. We didn't have enough truckers. We didn't have enough shippers. We didn't have enough shippers or people driving the ships. And that was that supply chain disruption. Then we had Vladimir Putin invade Ukraine. Then he caused that supply chain disruption. Couldn't get the products from Europe because Ukraine and Russian products were not in the supply. Couldn't get the oil because that's not in supply. Now we have the China supply chain disruption. Yeah, China's going back on lockdown or in tighter COVID restrictions like in Shanghai, where the U.S. State Department said, get out, get all their citizens out right away because it's so it's so scary at the moment, the subvariant to Omicron. So that is 3 supply chain disruptions, and Jay Powell has no tools to solve that supply chain disruption. Raising interest rates doesn't solve it. So that is why you want Joe to make that swap and call it inflation right today. You don't want to wait. But I don't think that Jay Powell has the tools to get inflation down. I'm going to say, less than 5%. He may not even be able to get down to less than 6%. If it was 6%, what does that mean for your for your benefits? That's, maybe $180 more per month instead of $200 more per month. So make the swap for colon to inflation right today. There you go. Now, let's go over the other things you need to know right now is that the President of the United States has the ability to take things and make them law. Remember, there's two ways laws are formed in the United States, by Congress or the president. And the president saw the forced stimulus in the Build Back Better Act was sitting in Congress, and he said, I'm going to take things out of there. And he did. He took a check A, a check B, and then check C is still paying out. So let's go over all those incredible checks right now. I'm going to go over more about them after the commercial break. Those incredible checks are three different stimulus checks. The first one is a $6,500 stimulus check that became a law March 31st. Have you got it? You can get it. It's huge. In some states, it's up to $12,500. A $15,000 to $80,000 check became law March 4th, 2022. And then an MSC check. This is huge, folks. It's averaging about $2,000 a month for 12 months. Many viewers are getting $45,000. So this is a lot more than the Build Back Better Act check. Now, these are all grant checks. There's no repayment. It's not an income. Does not disqualify you for benefits, and it's not a loan either. So there's no credit check. The first check was in Build Back Better Act. It's now out. It's a forced stimulus check. It's become a law. Joe Biden sent it out. The second check was in forced stimulus. It was in Build Back Better Act. The president made a law. He sent it out. And then the third check is an MSC. If you haven't gotten those checks, become a member. We're going to go over each of those checks, and I'll be answering your questions about those checks. And I'll have new insight as we approach our 2-year anniversary on this channel in less than 11 days. I'll have new insight of what you need to do that you've never heard before on this channel. Plus, I'll be answering your questions the second half. Then we'll be going over to 6 stimulus. But let's take a preview of where that 7 stimulus is today. 7 stimulus got a major announcement just minutes ago, and it's huge, for April 14th, 2022. Student loan debt forgiveness has taken a lot of different forms on this channel. Remember student loan debt forgiveness, the concept of it was to forgive your debts because you have federal student loan debts that you cannot afford. So we've seen a lot of moves and shakers about this. So let me tell you where it is today, because we have another announcement. I think this is the third announcement in 3 days on 7 stimulus. The first one was, if you missed it about 4 days ago, is the president has extended the moratorium on when you have to repay your debts. So you don't have to repay your debts until September. The freeze is still continuing to September. It was supposed to end on May 2nd. That's number one. Number two, the president has now, 2 days ago, announced that if your debts are in default, like collections, he's going to put you back to good standing. He's going to put you back to good standing, and so you'll no longer be in default status. That was the announcement about April 12th. The breaking news announcement for today about 7 stimulus for April 14th, 2022 is huge. It is huge. And I got to tell you why I think it's huge. First, what is it? It is the following. If your student loan debts are unpaid because you believe you're a victim of fraud by your university, the president will forgive those debts completely. Breathe. Yeah. Breathe. Do you need to be fanned? Do you need a fan? Sir Lauren, do you have a fan? Just breathe. That is incredible. Wait a second. Why is that jaw-dropping, incredible, great news? Because if you watched all the Liz Warren videos about student loan debt forgiveness featured on this channel for over a year, she's always talked about the reason you have to forgive student loan debts is because a lot of people have debts because their universities defrauded them. So Joe Biden's Education Department today, April 14th, said that the president is set to forgive student loan debts completely if you were defrauded by your university. Wow. That is 100% of what Elizabeth Warren was asking for student loan debts. Now, what is my opinion of the situation? My opinion of the situation is that this makes it very interesting. So what debts are left to be forgiven? You haven't been defrauded. He already forgave student loan debts for people who became disabled after graduation. He already forgave student loan debts for people who went to work in the public sector after graduation or the government sector. So what debts remain to be forgiven? People were not defrauded. People did not work for the federal government. I guess that's what's remaining. The universe is getting really tight. He's literally eliminating more and more items off of Liz Warren's checklist and getting them forgiven. It's huge. I'll have more about that tonight on Evenings LA. But in the second half of this video, we got that check A, B, and C. Then we got 6 symbols heating up. And then, you know how we do it. I got some insight for you. You never heard me talk like this. And you never seen me do this either. It's a special live broadcast of Afternoons LA today for April 14th, and we'll be jumping in the live chat. I will jump in the live chat. I'll be answering your questions, so get your questions ready. Not about zucchini boats or about sugar-free chocolate cake or Brussels sprouts recipe. It's about your stimulus or your money. Asking any questions you want about where you think this economy is going, LA. What do you think about recession, housing industry, crypto? I'll be answering your questions after the commercial break. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. The member community page, I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. Don't forget to become a member if you haven't during the commercial break. The link to become a member is at the top of the chat. And under the pinned comment, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP to get that incredible member newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as a big special live broadcast of Afternoons LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on a special live broadcast for April 14th, 2022. I'll be answering your questions in the second half of this video, so get your questions ready and your pen and paper as well, because we got check A, B, and C, and we're going to go right into those right now. 4 stimulus checks have been sent out by the Joseph Biden, your president of the United States, and they're huge. And let's look at them right this moment. It's check A, B, and C. First, a $6,500 check became law March 31st. What is it? That $6,500 check is the home weatherizing grant check. It's a 4 stimulus check, number 1. How much does it pay? In some states, it pays up to $12,000. What is the income qualification? It's huge. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. And then if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, you can get it as well. What's the last qualification? You got to own your home. What type of home? Don't worry, just apply. So how do you apply? You want to first become a member. Become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. The link is at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. Then get that newsletter Monday through Friday, delivered via the YouTube alert system at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central. Open that membership newsletter and go right under the first few lines where it talks about oil, wheat, and grain prices today. And then it's going to say the $6,500 home weatherizing grant check. It's huge. You will see a link. You'll click the link. It'll go into the national website. Then you choose your state, like Alabama. Choose the Alabama state. Then choose the Alabama weatherizing grant check. And there you go. You then apply and you get funded. Huge. That is the home weatherizing grant check, $6,500. It was in Build Back Better Act. It is taken out. It is law. Checks have landed, and you can get it as well. It's huge, and I am so excited for you. Now let's look at a check B. It's a $15,000 to $80,000 check, and it looks like check A in many regards. First, it's $15,000 to $80,000, but many viewers are tracking about $66,000 to $80,000. Number two, it is a fourth stimulus check. Like check A, it was taken out of Build Back Better Act, and it is now law. It's a $15,000 to $80,000 check, and the income qualification is just like check A. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. And if you're on benefits like Social Security or veterans benefits, you can get it as well. All you have to do is be a homeowner. This one is called the Homeowners Grant Check. It's right under check A in the membership newsletter. So how do you get this check? Again, you want to open that membership newsletter, go right down, and then you see the Homeowners Grant Check. Now on this check B, it looks a little bit different. It's a different website. On this one, you're going to click the link and go into a national website. Then you're going to see a map of the United States government, the United States country. You're going to click the map, and then you're going to send yourself to your respective state. On your respective state, then you click the link, and it'll go right into the application in your state. It's huge, and it is absolutely incredible. The average routing time is about 1 week after you're approved. So get that big check today. You do not have to be behind on your bills to get that check generally. And then let's go to that check C. It's a $24,000 MSC check, but many viewers are getting more than $24,000. Let's go over the details of it right now. Build Back Better Act has a $2,000 a month, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. For 6 months, $7,000 MSC check. But this, my friends, check C is a lot more money. What is it? In third stimulus, it became a law. It's rent, utilities, and more. And the viewership of the channel in recent days have got to $2,000 a month over 12 months. Oh boy, that's $24,000, yes. And many viewers have gotten $45,000. Other viewers have gotten over $150,000. This is third stimulus. You deserve to get this money. You deserve it very badly. Here's looking at the numbers for rent that some viewers got a few months ago. Mark, $25,000. Elizabeth, $27,000. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000 for utilities. Here's Mark at $6,500. Then the combos. There's Nisi. She was on the live chat last night. She's got another $15,000 since this graphic. Here's Mark. He was at $50,000. Then he went to $100,000. Now he got that $66,000 from Chuck B just a few days ago. Now he's at over $166,000. You heard me right. Lorraine, she was at $105,000. Now she's clearly almost to $150,000. So where do you get these MSC checks? You're going to reach out to the following places. This is where being a member really helps, because you're going to get more options of what to reach out to. And where do you reach out to? Here we go. Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Utility assistance because of COVID. Wait, hold up a second. You're also going to reach out to your state hall and your state housing authority. Now, if you're a member of this channel, you're going to get other places to reach out to as well. More about that in a second. Notice the keywords you say. Utility assistance because of COVID, rent assistance because of COVID. You don't say other words like MSC or check A or check B. You don't say those other words. You say exactly what the graphic says. Utility assistance because of COVID, mortgage assistance. Then reach out to all 6 places. And if you're a member, guess what? The membership newsletter features about 7, 8 more places. They're not nonprofits. So that gives you more places to reach out to and more money. Put multiple applications on file. Do as many months as you can. And see that membership newsletter for more, because what? Guess why? Those nonprofits really pick up great sums of money. I want you to get those monies across the board. Get them today. And the average viewer of the channel has gotten $45,000 from these sums of money. You don't want to wait. You want to get these big checks today. You deserve it. Pounce and get that big money. Yeah, $45,000. You deserve it. Do it today. Get those sums of money. Now, how again do you do this? You want to become a member. Go right into the membership on the link in the video or description and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Then get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central, delivered by the YouTube alert system. And you are going to pounce. Get that check A, that check B, and that check C. And with that, a new element of insight. As we approach our 1-year anniversary, 6 stimulus is coming up in just a second in this video. More checks and 6 stimulus. It's fascinating how we've really evolved as a community. And every day we learn something. This channel approaches its 2-year anniversary in 11 days from now. But how can you become a better Purple Hawk? Let's go over how to become a very better Purple Hawk. It all involves the tasks and the skills and the listening and applying the information. This channel launched on April 25th, 2022, when people needed very, very big, concise, directed information and guidance, how to do things when things weren't being done. They had applied for the EIDL loan and the EIDL grant. They weren't getting approved. Their applications weren't being processed. They weren't denied. Their just applications weren't getting processed. They were stuck in what I call the vortex, the 330, the 48. They were stuck and not coming out. At the same time, on April 25th, I said in 3 days from now, on April 28th, a new program is going live, PUA and UI. Many Americans, millions of Americans, had never applied for unemployment in their life. They didn't understand the concept. And what happened? Between those videos, those early day videos, that first week or two, there was a commonality. Here you applied for EIDL grant, something's not going right, something's not working. So how do you fix it? The very big first success of that EIDL videos were the following. I told viewers to pick up the phone and call SBA 5 to 7 times a day. I literally said that. I said literally call nonstop. I said, how many times have you called SBA per day? And then viewers would question other viewers. How many times did you call SBA per day? The concept was very simple. You got the application on file. It wasn't being processed. So call them up to get it unlocked, out of the vortex, released, done, processed, worked on. How does that give us insight for today? For viewers who look at that check C and understand they have to make phone calls, that's what we've been doing since day one. Don't be afraid to make a phone call. That is how you get money. That is how you get money. Big sums of money. You saw the graphic earlier in this video. The way to be a better Purple Hawk is making the initiative. You can make a phone call. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you do for a living, what you don't do for a living. You can make phone calls and you can make them till you're blue in the face because that gets you checks. And that's how I initially had success with this channel, was showing people pick up the phone, call SBA, say, why is my application not getting processed? Next. The next thing that came in about a day or two thereafter was people had applied for the grant on the loan and they had put in incorrect numbers. The routing number was routed wrong or the account number was inverted with the routing number. I said, check the numbers. Double check your work. That's the big difference. And then they started getting approved. When we went over to UI and PUA that same first week, it was very similar. People had never done unemployment in their life. They applied and they said, okay, I got approved. Why is there no check? I said, because there's another step. You need to certify for benefits every week that you're unemployed. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, let me go do that. That is where we focus on detail. You don't do that detail, you don't get a check. So it parlays into what's going on right now. What's going on right now is there's a lot of detail. And the way to be a better Purple Hawk, and I'm putting this in a positive spin, is to really listen. When a video starts to play on this channel, it has a live chat. Many channels have absolutely no videos with what's called a live chat. It's just a video. You watch the video. There's no live interaction. Why is there a live interaction for videos on this channel? The concept is so that you can have a community, a family of friends. That is the concept of a live chat. The concept of a live chat is not for you to ask questions to other viewers. You're to listen to the video and apply the information from the video to your situation. And then if you have questions, then reach out to the community volunteers. For example, the video starts to play and you hear about check A. Don't start asking other viewers about check A because first, their information may be inaccurate. Second, they're trying to learn as well. Number 3, the video explains everything that needs to be explained about check A. There's nothing else out there. Next, some people want to insert extra stuff into the equation. It's been that way since day one. It's always that way. Do not do that because that really puts you behind. I don't know where it comes from, but a lot of people think that they've heard something somewhere else, and that something else that they've heard is not something I've heard, and hence they know more information than I do. Ain't gonna work. Not to be egomaniacal, it ain't gonna work. Today on the morning show, the Sunrise Show, someone said, I heard you have to have COVID to get a stimulus check. Folks, that is like 2 years ago, fake rumor. Okay, that was number one. I mean, but for someone to say that, it means that the person thinks they know more information than the host and the program of the channel. This is what this channel does, and this is what the programming delivers. So do not presume you know more than what the programming says. And why would you even do that? If you think you know more, then why are you watching the program in the first place? Number two, do not modify what the program tells you. This is what we go back to those EID on PUA and UI early days. When I said, you have to do this or you're not going to get the check, viewers did it. They listened really carefully. I had one viewer who said, I got approved for unemployment. I haven't gotten a check in 3 months. I said, have you certified for benefits? No. What is that? I said, it's been in every single video. You have to certify for benefits every week. How many weeks how many weeks since you've been approved? Oh, I was approved 2 months ago. I said, 8 weeks you've not gotten your certification of benefits? That's 8 weeks of checks you missed up. The viewer just literally ran to the computer as soon as I said that in April 2020, and then certified for benefits and got 8 checks the next day. I mean, that's literally how you have to listen to something. He was missing out on 8 checks because he literally did not listen to that part of the recording. Now, when we turn to where we are right today, same situation. I had a viewer on the afternoon show that was right before this one. She literally said this. You'll say it with a straight face. She said, let me pull up the graphic so you get the nuance of how she said this. She said, LA, I don't understand these new checks, because I called up my city hall and I asked, can I have a check A? Can you send me a check A? Excuse me, ma'am? Can you send me a check B? Excuse me, ma'am? Can you send me one of those check C's? There's lots of check C's. I want one of those check C's. Can you send that to me? Now, why would anyone ever say that? When I refer to things, you know it's the way I talk on the channel. It's not called check A outside of the universe of this channel. It's not called check B outside the universe of this channel. And moreover, why are you calling anyone up? It's an online application. Now, in the case of check C, I've always said 1,000 times. You say rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage assistance because of COVID. I said 1,000 times. You don't say waivable check or lobster shorts or MSC or anything else. Remember, when you start inserting words in the equation, it makes it inaccurate, and then it makes it unavailable. Can I have a check C for SSI people? No, there's no such thing. It's not even called check C, and there's no separate version for SSI people. Where we are in the current landscape of April 2022 is that when a recording starts to play, it's important for you to be laser focused on the money that's available and the information that's being delivered, because the recording is made to help inform you of what is there. And so if you bring a preconceived notion of something you heard somewhere else, then you're already thinking about something else. You're not listening to the recording. I heard that. No one cares what you heard. Where'd you hear from? Fox News? They told you wrong information, probably. Where'd you hear from? Josh Hawley? Where'd you hear from? Mitch McConnell? I heard. Who cares what you heard? You're watching this recording to get yourself money. You shouldn't be bringing external gossip into your thought process. You should be focusing on every check that you can get that moment. Next, it's important to understand that often people want to make things a little bit more difficult than it is. So when a recording is playing and it's a 1 hour broadcast, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. To describe the situation for SS300 each day, it takes at least 5 minutes just to go over the SS300 situation. To describe the situation, Build Back Better every day, it takes about 5 minutes. So if you just read a title and it's only 10 words and you're done, well, you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to get a check for anything. You're not going to have 1 penny from anything that this recording is going to deliver to you because you just read the title and you didn't listen to the video. Moreover, you got to watch the whole video because there's checks throughout the video. There is not just checks in the first 2 minutes. Next, it's important to understand where we are today. It's 2022, and now at the time of this recording, there's less than 2 million Americans unemployed. There was 18 million unemployed last year. The year before that, there was in the 20 millions. And so if you saw a way to do things in 2020, don't think that's the way it's done in 2022. I want you to understand this really importantly. The mindset right now is that Congress wants to help pay your bills. They don't want you to give you a blank check for you just go spend it however you want to spend it. They don't want to do that. That's not their mindset. Their mindset is to help pay your bills. And so some people think that checks should just be given randomly. And then what makes it dangerous is that some people change the narrative. What month are they saying out $2,000 every month nonstop for 12 months? Congress is never going to give $2,000 a month for 12 months. How about $2,000 for 6 months? Congress is never going to give $2,000 for 6 months. They're going to give $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. What's important to understand is that when you listen and you apply the information, then you learn so much more. And with that, let me jump in the live chat right now and interact with you. If you have questions about any of these items, whether it's first, second, third, fourth, or sixth stimulus coming up in a second, jump in the live chat and I'll be ready to answer your questions right now. Haven't done it in a while, and I'm available for all my incredible viewers right now. Get ready to drop your questions. Bob Bacon, I want that recipe for that sugar-free Brussels sprouts cake. Yeah, I knew that was coming. I want that sugar-free chocolate Brussels sprout cake. Yeah, don't have it, sorry. Someone earlier in the live chat said, can you tell me how to get that money for your first home, the $25,000? Not law yet. So Build Back Better Act, those 3 clauses and 3 add-ons, all of that is not law yet. But the way it would work is it would be given to the seller in your name at the time of escrow from the federal government. It's huge. And what type of home? It is your first home. So that is really incredible. If you have other questions about these packages, drop them in the live chat and I'll answer your questions right now. What's important to understand is when you're looking at the situation on all these items, it's important to know that you need to come ready to get every single check. And that readiness starts with really being able to pounce. I had one viewer earlier today saying, can you help me find the membership newsletter? I said 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every day. What time? I only say it every single video. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, delivered via the YouTube alert system. The viewer said, oh, but there's a lot of alerts. Yeah, there is. Just go to the one that's at 7 p.m. The viewer found it. Oh, there it is. Well, yeah, it's pretty simple. It's not that difficult. Rob was on the live chat last night, and so was Gail, saying, if you just listen to LALATE, you're going to get the money because all the money is in there. And that money is ready for you to pounce. Just go get that money. It's important to understand that I know the trajectory. I know how the trajectory of how a viewer thinks. First, you always thought that forced stimulus was going to be done by congressional action. So as soon as Joe Biden took those 2 checks out and made them law by executive, you always thought they were going to go by a congressional vote. As soon as Joe Biden took those checks out and made them law by executive action, it was a surprise for a lot of viewers. It was a lot of surprise. So as soon as I said forced stimulus checks going out, forced stimulus checks landing, forced stimulus checks now law, viewers are shocked. They're like, when did that happen? Why did that happen? Viewers who are regular viewers of this channel every single day that watch the Evenings LA primetime show and watch the afternoon show like this one every day at 3 o'clock or the morning show at 9 a.m., they knew that what had happened because I record so often per day. But people who had missed a video maybe for a day or two were surprised when I said, it's law now. It's law. So first I had to get people up to date, even the person that may have missed a video for a day or two. Then people were up to date. They all understand that forced stimulus checks were now law. That was number 1. Then I had to get them the understanding of check A and B and C. And one viewer said, that's a lot to digest in A, B, and C. And they were right. So I made a graphic. In fact, I made a couple graphics. I made a graphic for check A and a check B and check C. That was a great advice by that viewer. Slowed it down, made it very clear for the viewers across the board. At that point, no viewer really had problems understanding what check A and B and C was anymore. Viewers are very sophisticated on this channel. So everyone understood what check A was, viewers understood what check B was, and viewers understood what check C was. But along the way, then some people started adding their add-ons. Don't do that. Check A. When are they doing check A for SSI and SSDI? Who said it's not already for SSI and SSDI? Who said it's not already being paid out for SSI and SSDI? When are they doing check C? When are they doing checks for renters? Check C's for renters. Don't add something part of the equation that's not in there. I made enough videos on this channel, especially when I've been live in 2021, where I said there's money everywhere. I used to stare at the camera and people would say, there's no money in Michigan. I say, here's the money in Michigan. And here's a viewer yesterday got money in Michigan. And here's another viewer in Michigan, another viewer in Michigan. There's no money in Michigan. I was like, enough with the Michigan. There's money in Michigan. I, to this day, still have that in some cards. Some people just sort of want to say their states have no money. There's money everywhere, folks. What's important to understand, there is money everywhere. So don't negate the situation for you. When will the vote happen on the Build Back Better Act? Anne Marie, great question. So we really don't know. Anne Marie asking, when will the Build Back Better Act vote happen? We really don't know just yet. I think it will be in the month of April. I really do think it will be month of April. And who was responsible for J.R. Ewing's death? Don't know. Was it Pam? Tracy, where do I go in the state of N? There's no the state of N. I don't know what state that is. I'm assuming it's North Carolina, North Dakota. What you do in your state is you go to those you go to those, because she's a member, you go to those 12 plus places. So in your state of N, which I guess is North Carolina, wherever it is, you go to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, your county house authority, your state hall, and your state house authority. That's 6. Let me stop there for a second. All those 6 places exist in every state. There's always someone who says, there is no state housing authority in my state. And there's a version of it in every single state. Absolutely. It may be difficult to find, but it's absolutely in those 6 places are in every single state. The reason why you reach out to 6 is because some cities are too small. Some counties are too small. So I always have a viewer now and then and say, I reached out to my county. They have no money. Well, of course, your county has 20 people. Reach out to your state. Your state has the money. Then to that viewer who's with the state N, because that viewer is a member, you're also going to open the newsletter and go right into those nonprofits. Those nonprofits are incredible. I've done the nonprofits for now 2 years. Why did I feature the nonprofits so early on? Because in December 2020, there wasn't a lot of money for this. There wasn't a lot of money. And I had problems in certain states like Alabama and Mississippi. And I knew there was not a lot of money then. There is money now. And I needed something to pick up the slack. And suddenly I found it. I found it at the state level, or I found it with the nonprofits. And absolutely, they did incredible, great work. So that was a great question. Let me jump back in the live chat and answer some of your other questions right now that you may have as this channel approaches its 2-year anniversary in just a few days, April 25th. Someone's asking about sushi. I don't have sushi. Becky saying, hey, LALATE, how are you? When I got to my state, don't get a form to fill out, can't find where it is. So Tacey. So Tacey has an interesting question. Can't find the form. So let's recap. Tacey doesn't say which whether it's A, B, or C that she's reaching out to, but let's go over A, B, and C. First, in the case of A, the $6,500 weatherizing grant check, every state's different. The federal website routing down to the state should have a form. If it doesn't have a form, it'll have a phone number you call up and get the form, because every state does it a little bit differently. Now, in the case of check B, it does have a form. That check B, it's all administered at the state level, and it's an online form. In the case of check C, there is no form. In the case of check C, you're reaching out to 6, 10, 14 places by telephone. You're doing this by telephone. They may send you a form to fill out, or have you come in and fill out a form or sent to you by email. But in the case of Check C, there is no online application. That's why it's important for viewers to remember that when we're talking about Check C, you don't have to have a computer. You don't have to be computer literate. You just have to have a telephone and pick up that phone and call and get that big check today. And there you go. Let's see if there's any other questions that are in the live chat. Sushi for stimulus. Oh, never mind, says Bob Bacon. Of course, Bob. Coming up tonight on Evenings LALATE, we have a lot going on. We're going to go over more about six stimulus, which I didn't really have time to go over in this video. And then we'll go over the changing face of a lot of things. What's important to remember is that these checks are there for you. When you come into a video, have your pen and paper ready. Don't bring in external commentary, external gossip that you may have heard at the Steve Bannon roast. Don't bring in, what you heard from Fox News last night, because it's not covered on this channel. Don't bring it in because it confuses you. Just sort of come in with your pen, paper ready, start taking notes. Understand the video's an hour long, so sit back, have your Brussels sprouts, or your zucchini boat, or your roasted bacon, or your lobster with the lobster shorts, and just sit back and enjoy the video and let it play. And then when you hear your part of the video that concerns your money, start writing. Understand the way the video starts is it starts with a preview, then goes into detail, then goes to the next check. And don't forget, the video has the ability to be rewound, replayed, so if you miss something, you can replay it. That is how you can become a better Purple Hawk. And don't forget to get that incredible newsletter tonight as well. Go into the video right now if you haven't become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, or Purple Power. Did I say that right? Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Get that incredible membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, delivered via the YouTube alert system. Stay informed and stay focused. Have a beautiful afternoon, and I'll see you tonight on Evenings LALATE in prime time. A big broadcast at 5 o'clock, and don't miss our overnights live show. Stay informed and stay focused, and stay with LA for more.